Hey, it's Chris, Safety Dog here. We'll go live in about 2 minutes, I think. Why is my countdown timer incorrect? Well, how does that work, eh? Oh, there. We'll adjust the countdown timer. We will go live at 1 o'clock, as we do most Mondays. For just a few minutes, of course. So I'm going to pretend I'm working today while we're waiting for the countdown timer to get down, because yes, I am actually working. Did you hear the news? I got dinged that Ontario is going to open up as of Friday. We can go to patios. Yay! That's really good. I'm excited. So let me tell you, I'm excited to go to a patio and have a beer. The playoffs are on. Maybe we can watch a hockey game in a bar. Oh my God! Or watch the Blue Jays sitting having a beer. Not that I'm promoting drinking or anything, but my goodness, how exciting is that? All right, so the countdown timer has hit 0. We are not quite at 1 o'clock yet because somehow I screwed up the countdown timer. Whoops. And I just deleted me. Well, that doesn't work very well. And let's see here how we can fix this. There. Something like that. Hey, well, I guess it is time. And let me just try to fix that one more time. As you can see here, we're having fun today on there. Okay, I'm trying to make myself, not that I can look pretty, but there, fit myself in there. Hey, so welcome everybody. Live today, we are talking about Ontario and the fact that they actually issued a statement about ELDs. They did this on May the 28th, so I did a quick blast out last week, but I wanted to look a little bit more in depth at it today and see what is going on. So let me set this up for you. I think that is correct. And we will get going. Who did I have on the podcast this week? Well, I think the podcast was pretty exciting this week. We had a couple on. They're from Kitchener, Chad and Michelle, and they own a company by the name of Ready Check, and they are targeting those companies that stay within the 160 kilometer radius, don't need to have an ELD, don't need a logbook, but obviously have CVOR vehicles, and they do need to perform their vehicle inspections. And so they've come up with a system about how to do a better vehicle inspection. So that's who was on the podcast this week. Listen, take a click on that and listen to that. Now, in your show notes, I put down this link. So what are we talking about today on the Secrets of Safety? Oh, the Secrets of Safety Dawg. I won't do the intro now because it's too darn late. We are talking about Intra Provincial carriers. The Ontario government came out with a statement in regards to ELDs and Intra Provincial carriers, as well as federally regulated carriers. Because as I've said in the past, you don't get a ticket based on federal regulations. You get a ticket based on the Ontario Highway Traffic Act if you're trucking in Ontario. And I was very interested to know, when is Ontario going to enforce the federal regulation as to federal ELDs? And when is Ontario going to implement on ELDs for Ontario regulated carriers or intra-provincial carriers? And May the 28th, they came out with the statement. So what did that statement say? There's the link. I put that in the comments down below. It's the very first comment. So check that out. You can click on the link yourself and go there and read the whole statement. But basically, this is what the statement looks like. And for some reason here, I know what's wrong. Let me go to this and do that. Boom, boom. There we go. So now I look a little better, if I can look any better at all. So this is what the statement looks like. And federally regulated carriers, you probably all know that the regulation for ELDs for you, if you are federally regulated, take place June the 12th of 2021. And that's like, what, how many days? This is the 7th, so that's in 5 days. If you are a federally regulated carrier, you have to have an ELD in your truck as of June the 12th, 2021. However, Ontario has said that they will be doing education and awareness period without penalty until June 12th of 2022. So if you are a federally regulated carrier, you will not be getting any penalties until June the 12th of 22. So we have a full year of education. So what they've said is education and awareness without penalty. What is not clearly stated is without affecting our CVORs. So I'm hopeful that without penalty means that they will not write up any violations for your CVOR. It certainly implies without financial penalty. And I think it means that they won't affect your CVOR, but I'd like to be a little bit clearer on that. So as of June the 12th, 2021, federally regulated carriers have to have an ELD, but here in Ontario, you will not be getting any violations because we have an education and awareness period without penalty until 22. So hopefully that's clear. Now, what the Ontario government is doing for Intra Provincial carriers, they're going to pass an amendment very soon, and this is what the amendment looks like. But I've broken it down here. MTO will adopt CCMTA's technical standard for Ontario's ELD requirements, which is a great thing. This means that we won't have different ELDs in provinces, or at least in Ontario. It'll be the same, whatever the feds say Ontario is adopting, basically. So they are using the CCMTA's technical standard, same as Transport Canada. Transport Canada's list of certified ELD providers will be the ones that are approved for Ontario. So that's a great thing. Again, now that list of ELD providers, I checked just before going on air, and it is still blank, in case you were wondering. So there have been no ELD providers certified yet by Transport Canada. And I know it's a third-party people, but they're licensed by Transport Canada. So here we are, June the 7th, and we are 5 days away from the implementation, and there is no approved ELD supplier yet. So very interesting. MTO will not change those who are required to follow the hours of service. So if you are required to follow the hours of service rules and regs now, you will still have to require the ELD regulations. If you need a logbook today, you will need a logbook tomorrow. So they are not changing the current limits. And if you are required to have a logbook today, basically you will be required to have an ELD. That's the rule. So if you go past the 160 kilometer radius, or if you don't return to your depot and all that kind of stuff, that means you are required to have a paper log today. You will have to have an ELD if you are Intra Provincial on June the 12th of 22. So the daily log changed to, this is a technical thing. They're not calling it daily logs anymore. They're going to be calling it record of duty status, or RODS. Technical change. ELDs tested and certified by Transport Canada, TC Transport Canada, will be accepted in Ontario. And same as Transport Canada, any malfunctioning or reporting, it's the exact same what Transport Canada says. So they're making it kind of convenient. I note here, though, that supporting documents, what they wrote was, will closely match Transport Canada. So that's interesting. They didn't say matches Transport Canada. They say will closely match Transport Canada. So that's interesting. What are the exemptions? The exemptions will match Transport Canada. Drivers not required to have an ELD by Transport Canada mandate will not have to have an ELD in Ontario. For example, the 30-day rentals, you won't have to have an ELD. Trucks manufactured before the year 2000 don't have to have an ELD. Now, school buses in Ontario will not have to have an ELD, and drive-away, tow-away vehicles. So these are two differences. Transport Canada did not exempt school buses. Ontario is exempting school buses. And Transport Canada did not mention anywhere about drive-away, tow-away vehicles, and Ontario has. They said they are exempt. So that's an interesting difference. What is not different, I've had livestock haulers reach out and say, are they exempt? Because they are exempt from an ELD in the United States. I see no mention of an exemption for livestock carriers. So I know I had one livestock carrier say, well, that's interesting because as soon as some livestock dies or get treated poorly because the driver stops, then the people, all the not the environmentalists, but the people who are all for treating animals correctly will be up in arms. And yes, I can see that being a contentious issue. However, I guess, and this is, I'm trying to read into what Transport Canada is thinking, is that you plan your trips properly and you can make it on time. And now I hear all the drivers yelling, yeah, but shit happens out there, and I know it does. And so on those rare occasions when things do happen, unfortunately, I don't see an exemption. So I guess it'll have to be applied at the scale. Yeah. Anyways, what's the date for Ontario and Intra Provincial carriers? Is June the 12th, 2022. What is the date for, I would call it hard enforcement or penalties for federally regulated carriers in Ontario? June the 12th, 2022. So with that, I would say that is all we are talking about today. So I thank you for tuning in. We have, who do we got? Want to leave a comment and let me know who's watching? Whoops. Leave a comment. Let me know who's watching. I don't know. Do I have my comments on the screen? Because we do have somebody watching today, which is rather nice of them to spend their time with me. And of course I can't. There we go. And comments. It's Sud again. Hey, Sud, how are you? Thank you so much. This whole live today is a result of Sud telling me about the, there's Sud, telling me about this whole mandate because I had missed it, and Sud was kind enough to send me the link and everything. So Sud, thank you very much. I appreciate that and all that kind of good stuff. With that, I will say that is it for this week. Next Monday, I hope to be here again with you all. Live Mondays at 1. Sud, thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. With that, Safety Dawg's out.